One source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during games. Think you know your stuff? Get in on our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Bet online. The game starts here. Bet.
Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a Falcon. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Don't matter who did what to who at this point. Fact is, we went to war, and now there ain't no going back. I mean, shit, it's what war is, you know? Once you in it, you in it. If it's a lie, then we fight on that lie. But we gotta fight.
What's up, fam? Big ups to the fam. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. Man, we up in this thing. Slim Charles and Avon Boxdale talking about the impending street beef that they were about to go down, and the fact that Stringer Bell pulled a play where he was trying to, and this is, of course, from The Wire. That's one of my favorite all-time shows, man. It was a classic. You know, rethinking what happened because of what Stringer, who was his partner, who pulled the play, a lot of foul stuff Stringer Bell did. It ultimately culminated in his offing by brother Muzon and what's your boy name, man? Oh man, Omar. So I mean, yeah, it was a good series, man. But it's a lot of really good jewels in that series, man. It kind of puts a good bridge over to what we doing right now, because we in it. Ain't no backing out. We are in it. So a month worth rather of matchups puts us squarely in the mix. Man, let me tell you, 2-2, 500 at a month worth of games. And I think that if you'd asked the Who That Nation that at the start of the year, if 500 would have been all right after weeks, I guess the 3 weeks, 2, 3, and 4, they would be like, I guess that's all right. Well, that's what we are, 500 ball club. Ain't no getting around that. All right, so big ups to the family. I appreciate y'all for being in the stream. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and please feel free to share the show on your social media feed. The Coma is representing the mighty Who That Nation, man. Big ups to the fam. Poppy 504, shout out to you. Be Great, Josh, Pelicans, Nola, OG to the 3rd degree. Jason, big ups to you. L Dub, High Rise, big ups, Young Nola. Good to see you. Jasser, big ups to your fam. Good to see you. Brother Pete's in this thing. Argentine Dogo, big ups fam. As well, Head Trauma. Brother Derek, how you doing, sir? Appreciate you. Willie, what's popping, my friend? Who that daddy? What's up, brother? How you doing today, bro? Ty, big ups to Ty. OG Jerry. What's up, OG? Mr. O, big ups to you, fam. Much love to you, brother. Appreciate y'all for being here. All right, Jack says, show me, show me. I'll see you, Jack. Yeah, I see you, brother. You there. All right, what's up, TJ? How you doing, brother? Appreciate you, man. As well, big ups to everybody, man. Appreciate y'all all for being in the stream, man. For the Monday recap, much love to you guys, man. Listen, I know a lot of people were upset about them. And listen, what's up, first, Michael? How you doing, sir? You cannot, if you're the New Orleans Saints head coach, you can't lose to the Falcons. You can lose, you may lose some other games, but losing to the Falcons is almost unforgivable. As a Saints family member, man, let me tell you, losing to the Falcons is like, that's a kick in the teeth. Like, you have some collegiate teams, you take the job, but you can't lose to this other team. Like, if you are Auburn, you take the Auburn job, you're expected to beat Alabama, even though we know that's a tall task. But when you take on these rivalries, man, losing to your hated rival does not endear yourself to the family base. It really doesn't. And in the manner of which you lose is also very, 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 very important. So in this one, man, we're not going to kind of harp on it too much. We're going to go over with Dennis Allen's interview. We'll play. He said a lot of stuff that we said, that we've been saying. And as usual, the Coma and the family members, the great Saint think tank is always ahead of the curve. Always. We've been saying this stuff for like 2 years because it's now hard to tell. A lot of times, man, these people be listening, and a lot of times they discount your commentary because it's you saying it. It's like, oh, well, that guy's not a head football coach. Ain't a damn thing to do with it. If it's facts, if it's good information, take it and imply it. It don't matter. You know, like they said in the end times that the how's the quote goes, the babe should speak the truth from the cradle. Is that, I know I'm paraphrasing it right there. I know I'm around there somewhere. Black preacher man kind of cleaned that up for me. But it don't matter, man. Wherever you get truth from, you gotta listen, man. It ain't gonna always be some guy in a $10,000 suit dropping some truth on you. It don't work like that, especially this time. And usually the guy in a $10,000 suit be lying. Dude in a $10,000 suit lying about everything, whether he a bureaucrat or another person. It'd just be lying. You know, so I mean, in the end, man, get your truth from where you can get it, man. I'm telling you straight up. But man, listen, Saints go down, man. A lot of questions. There's a poll question in the chat, fam, today that I got up right here. I want all y'all to vote on it. As the family members coming into the stream, please do me 2 things. Number 1, please hit the like button. And then also feel free to check out the poll question. There is, which do you believe is the real Saints? And I got there week 1, Saints week 1 through 2, or Saints week 3 through 4. Which to you are the real Saints? And then there's the option is, I don't know. Well, guess who's winning right now? I don't know is winning. 38% versus 36%, which is the week 3 through 4 Saints. A lot of people believe that the Saints are not who we think they are. To kind of quote the great Dennis Green in reverse, they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. It kind of applies in this game because we did live. We ain't let them off the hook. We gave them the hook and bullets and the guns. We gave them all and told them, here you go. And they turned around and said, thank you. Yeah, so is y'all answer that question right now? I don't know if and the family members are rightfully to be confused about that, man. Because the truth of the matter is, who are the Saints? Seriously, who are they? We don't know who the hell they are. But I can tell you who they are. They're a 500 football team. That's pretty much what they are right now. All right. So anyway, man, takes from the game, man. Not so much statistically. We talked about the stats on the recap stream. We went over that stuff. And what's really interesting, we'll do the film work. I was able to study the film today and look at the film, the all 22. We'll be doing that on Patreon this Tuesday and showing the family members the decision-making ability of Derek Carr when he doesn't have access to the running attack is very puzzling. Even when he has a clean pocket, the decision-making at times is very puzzling. He's not seeing the whole field. And it just breaks down and it just shows itself. And that is something that has to be fixed. And not just so much on Derek Carr's decision making on tape. We're talking about tape, watching the tape, but also the play calling without Taysom Hill. The question is, can the offensive coordinator, Kubiak, can he, and then, damn, you know how frustrating it is, fam? Can I be real with y'all for a second? Can I vent a little bit? Can I vent to you guys? It isn't, fam. It is so frustrating, fam. It really is. That when you literally, and this happened last week. You can go back and listen to the streams last week. You can listen to that. I'll tell you the exact time stamp that you can go back and listen to. Not, in week 3. And I said this at halftime. So you can go back to the live stream that was done. It's on this channel, on this platform, at halftime of the Philadelphia matchup. And I basically said everything that Dennis Allen was saying about what he's saying about his Saints 2 weeks later. I said the same damn thing. Put 1 in the chat if you remember that. If you don't, go back. I'm giving you a timestamp. To go back 2 weeks ago to the Philadelphia broadcast we did, the live play-by-play broadcast at halftime, and listen to it. I basically said everything that he said now, that the offense is not diverse enough. Dennis Allen, well, I'm going to play his interview today. He basically said every damn thing I said about this stinking offense. This guy had his little book, and a month worth of time is more than enough time to roll out new wrinkles. I'm not saying no new wrinkles. I'm saying the same plays flip-flopped from one side to the other. And then you see different personnel running the same plays that are being flip-flopped. When people get enough, if I'm noticing that as a play-by-play person, best believe defensive coordinators are realizing that too. So you've seen, and I've said this, and I said this 2 weeks ago too, when the Saints were at the height of fever pitch, blowing out teams. I said, fam, this is going to change. We're just going to have to see if the Saints can adjust when the rest of the league catch up, because all they need is film on you to figure out what you're doing. It is incredibly so frustrating, fam. And I spoke of at halftime, I said the Saints offense need diversity. You have to get other guys involved that's not named Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill. It is absolutely incredibly frustrating. It really is that these people are so late. And then you had shows that I did years ago saying about what's wrong with this team, about accountability and attention to detail, all this kind of stuff. And they finally, in what could be possibly this man's last year, Dennis Allen's last year as a head coach, if he don't turn it around, it's just incredibly frustrating, man. It really is. But at the end of the day, now they start talking. We done lost 2 games there, 2 very winnable games. Both those teams, no disrespect to the Eagles or the Falcons. I mean, really no disrespect, but to keep it real, Philadelphia isn't as good as you think they are. Tampa Bay spanked them dudes yesterday. The Saints should have spanked them 2 weeks ago. And Atlanta could not score an offensive touchdown. They celebrated it because it's a win over the Saints. But the real ones, like Lowe and others, were saying, man, we got the win over the Saints. But damn, we didn't score an offensive touchdown. I got a lot of concerns. And the Saints beat themselves. You can't spot the team 14 points. and then play like that in the Eagles matchup? The question is, how do they adjust? Now, question to the Who Dat Nation, the Great Saint Think Tank, for you. Put it in the chat. Let me know how you feel. What is your thoughts on why a offensive coordinator would over rely on injured players? All right. Check this out. Shout out to Nick Underhill. This is Nick Underhill's tweets. This is from the 29th. He spoke about Alvin Kamara played through with broken ribs today. Of course, the Saints didn't say they broken ribs, but Nick Underhill know because he's an insider. He's inside the locker room. He gets the inside baseball. So does Mike Triplett. Shout out to him too. Kamara played through broken ribs. He said not playing was never a consideration. Taysom Hill has a rib injury on the opposite side of his lung injury. See, these are specifics. Injury report doesn't speak like that. It just says in the abdomen. The other one says just the chest. This is the same crap that they did when they had Derek Carr. Now, we know that the injuries are more specific, but think about what's going on. And that's not to mention, he mentioned the broken ribs and talking about the hip pointer as well. The Saints have hip pointer on there, which is also very painful. How can a man play with broken ribs, fam? If y'all got broken ribs, you're not going to work. You're not driving no goddamn trucks or whatever you do for a living. You're not going to be doing it. If you got broken ribs, you're going to be sitting your ass up somewhere trying to get through them broken ribs because that's very painful. How can a football player play with broken ribs? And the offensive coordinator that knows these guys are busted up continues to over rely on them, even though there are healthy components behind them. Could somebody ask me that? Can I get an answer for that, please? I will put them on screen. Can you guys give me an answer for that? Why would an offensive coordinator who have healthier players behind two very injured players, as you can see, multiple injuries for both of these players, overplay these guys and not dig into a healthy running back room of players that he has on his team? Why would he overuse these guys? Could somebody answer that before I go into the next thing here? Could somebody give me an answer? Seriously. Let me get an answer from you guys on that. You know? All right. Devon says, went from Saints fan A to Saints hopeful. All. I was trying to warn the family members, Devon, that listen, man, I was cautioning you guys because as black and gold people, we love hard, don't we? Don't we? Not loving hard is almost like going against your nature. So when you find something that you're passionate about or someone that you care about, you go all in, right? It's like, okay, that's who it is. I'm going all in. You're not trying to hold nothing back. If you're trying to hold something back, then that ain't for you. Whatever that is ain't for you. That's some game. You got reservations of going in there. You're like, man, I ain't gonna give it my all. Man, I don't know. Don't go in there. Don't deal with that situation, regardless of what it is. It's a feeling, and it ain't just coming from some sick, weird, twisted feeling. It's an energy that you get that they can't fake. That knows, hey, man, this is what's happening. We love hard in the Who Dat Nation, so it's very difficult to reserve the passion that you have for your ball club because you love hard, right? You go all the way in. You go, if this is it, I'm going 100, right? Can't do that now because what you're trying to give 100% to you is not, to it, it's not giving 100 back. So that's a violation. We can't do that. So they have to earn your love, your respect. And there's nothing wrong with that. People saying other than that, that's propaganda. That's an imbalance. That's disharmony. That's not natural. That's not organic. You don't put anything into something and don't get the exact amount out of it. Did you get me? That's facts. If you do that, what's going to end up happening is you're going to drain yourself dry and end up in a bad place. Never put 100% of yourself into something unless you getting that same energy back. That's facts. That'll save you a lot of heartache too. All right, big ups. Taylor says, I wouldn't be mad about Saints play for real, just the outcome of the game. Hashtag Kudat. All right, thank you, Taylor. All right, what's up, Sandra? She says the D plays well except for the final minutes of the game when we need them the most. Bend, don't break means nothing if we're breaking at crucial moments. Exactly. Well said. All right. Head Trauma says DA feels the sea getting hotter. He's going to be cooked. All right. Sandra says that's not a logical reason. Not a logical reason. Infinity says it makes no sense. He has other weapons. He refuses to use them. Insanity to me. Jack says they overplay the ones because we don't have a talented roster. You need 1, 2s, and 3s, mismanagement of the cap and draft picks, not doing in-season evaluations, etc. Bring it back to old Slick Mick, huh? I hear you, Jack. Thank you, man. What's up, Baraka? Head Trauma says, I don't believe they trust their abilities as a coach without their star players. How can we trust them to win games? Now, think about that. That's very deep. Harris says, Saints fans who lives in Atlanta, trust me, they not celebrating much. They know the Saints gave them the game. We got a whole Saints block here. Thank you, bro. That's good, bro. I'm glad, Harris, that you got that kind of block up there, man. Infinity says, I think somewhere that DA is now saying we have to get others involved. No shit, duh. We've been saying that, bro. That's why it's frustrating. Cartel. Pelicans Nola says Saints' problem is they take too long to draft skilled players. That's why when we have the injury, we have no one else. Devon says, I knew ATL would be close. I'm still lost for words on the Philly game. We have the personnel, just have to spread the ball. 504 says, Q, love hard. New Orleans went 18 days without a murder being committed during the 2-game winning streak. The city is truly connected to the team. Very interesting phenomena that does need to be studied more. That's a very interesting phenomenon, man. And people say, oh, that's just a coincidence. Ain't no such thing as 2 accidents, because that's what coincidence stands for. If you see something happen and it happen again, that's not an accident. It's a pattern. Logically speaking, correct? Check in the chat. Man, that should be studied. Very interesting, bro. English says they done the same thing with Carr after Green Bay gave him the needle. Indeed. Jermaine says, I tell you what, Q, I'm like my Saints team, but if they go to KC with that BS, Pat Mahomes will turn the lights out on them. Okay, thank you. Pete, what's up? Pete says, Q, it's an organizational call. What do you mean, Pete? Expound on that. Ty says maybe the OC is not innovative enough. And then, of course, Cartel says, Q, if you look at how Clint ran the first 2 weeks, you could tell he has multiple plays and schemes. The question is, why are they dialing back? Is it possible Clint doesn't run the offense like we think? I think it's Clint Kubiak. I knowing Dennis Allen, based on what we've seen from Dennis Allen, fam, I don't think it's totally like I don't think Dennis Allen does that where he is then turns around and says, hey man, I'm gonna run the offense. I don't think he's involved in that. I think he did exactly what Pete Carmichael did. He focuses on what he knows. He stays defensively, hired the staff to run the offensive side of things. That's what I think he's doing. I don't think he's tied to it. But I agree with a lot of the talking points that you guys are throwing up there. That's why the poll question asks the question, which Saints team is it? Which team is it? Right now, that people believe that it's the week 3 through 4 Saints is the real Saints, not the week through 1 and 2 when they were destroying everybody. Well, just Carolina and Dallas. But the cumulative loss totals of the last 2 games was 5 points. Make it make sense. None of this make any sense if you're a good football team. Kendall says, knowing the Saints, they'll beat the Chiefs and lose to Tampa. T. Will says, what's the purpose of having pretty good tight end but not using them in the passing game? It's very interesting. I appreciate y'all commentary. A lot of great comments from the Great Saint Think Tank. What's interesting about it is the question I asked for the family members just joining is, hey man, why is what's up with, why is Clint Kubiak not digging into his depth? And like one of the family members said, hey Q, man, that's simple. He don't trust him. That's a very simple answer, isn't it? Very simple, but that could be very well true. The Saints have a collection of very talented players behind Elvin Coma. The ones are the ones, 1s, 2s, and 3s. 1s, 2s, and 3s. Obviously, Taysom Hill is a weapon. But it appears like without Taysom Hill in the lineup, Clint Kubiak has no go-to move. He over relies on Elvin Kamara, which Elvin is hurt, multiple injuries, and he had Jamal Williams with 3 carries. And then Jamal was averaging like 4 yards a carry. So that wasn't bad. It just wasn't enough. And you give the ball to a north-south runner like Jamal Williams. He's a rhythm runner, which means he gets stronger as the game goes on. So I'm going to make a suggestion. Just me, old Q, just saying. Like I made a suggestion 2 weeks ago during the halftime effort when I spoke about diversity in the offense. I said the same thing that Dennis Allen said in part during today's presser. We'll play it about getting other people involved 2 weeks ago. Very easy. Question is, why didn't he say that then? When I was saying it then, why wasn't he not paying attention to? Where are these guys looking is the questions I'm asking. Are you that distracted? That's why I was saying that Joe Wood should be calling the plays for the defense, which will allow Dennis Allen to pay attention to his whole team. You don't have to get sucked in on what the defense is going to do and plan and calling and all this kind of stuff. That was a suggestion I made, because if you didn't have that extra responsibility of paying attention to what the defense is doing, then you could pay attention to your special teams, your offense, and your damn defense. You just be an overseer to make sure everybody on course. If you had done that, perhaps you would have seen this 2 weeks ago, like we seen this 2 weeks ago. What's the purpose of having guys like Jordan Mims, who was tearing up preseason in training camp, and now all of a sudden we get to the season and Jordan Mims ain't shit? I mean, seriously, man. Jamal Williams is a north-south runner. This is my suggestion. We talked about diversity. Let's specify. What do you mean when you say diversity, Q? What I mean is that you get so intricate, because this guy's supposed to be attention to detail centered at the highest level, that you start breaking them quarters down and start delegating areas of the game which you give to players. Like, we should see more of Jamal Williams in the third and fourth quarters, because that fits what he is as a runner. He's a north-south power runner. Those guys get stronger in the third and fourth quarters because the defense gets tired and they don't want to see those type of guys. They don't want to see those power runners running at them like that. So he has to be able to figure and get these guys involved. I didn't forget what Jordan Mims did in training camp and preseason. Jordan Mims was a beast and is a beast and is not getting anything. So for him to say not trusting them, that's true. In fact, there's no coach is not going to play a player that he doesn't trust. It doesn't make any sense to over rely on injured players. You don't do that to those guys. And it's a long season. We still got a ton of games left. So you have to delegate and be able to give the responsibility to other players to let them help you. And Jordan Mims can help you in many different ways. He can catch the ball out the backfield. He can run. He's very fast. He's very good. He can block as well. He exhibited all those qualities during preseason. And all of a sudden, Jordan Mims is garbage. Jordan Mims can't play. It's crazy, because he's going to have to come up with something. That's a big part of it. Here's some list of the injuries. Ruiz, we'll see what he looks like this week. Just a list of some of the guys that's out. We know A.T. Perry really hadn't been helping us. He'd been banged up, had a hand. Then he had something else going on. I think it was a hamstring. DeMario missed the game. Tyrann Mathieu is questionable, dealing with a calf, heel, and groin. He got 3 injuries. Tyrann Mathieu, and the word is Tyrann Mathieu might miss multiple weeks. Taysom Hill, suffered a rib injury during the game. He was hurt. He had a chest issue prior that he missed the other game. Willie Gay left the game with a hand issue. And of course, these are players, man. The majority of these guys, of the 6 guys here, 5 of them are starters. But if you're Clint Kubiak, and even if you got a guy like Kendre Miller, which is a bit of good news for Kendre Miller, to get ready to come back from injury, regardless or not, is the guy going to use them? That's the question. The question is he going to use these players? Me personally, and I answer my own question by saying, no, he ain't going to use them. He got to prove to me that he gonna use these guys. Because if he was smart as we think he is, he would have done this shit in these other games. Who does this? Who does this? Look at here it is right here. Elvin Kamara, who's hurt. Jamal Williams is available to run. You got to know how to use your players. Jordan Mims. What's wrong with Jordan Mims? What's wrong with Jordan Mims? What's wrong with Jordan Mims? Why he ain't getting any play? He's healthy. He's active. Status active. I'm here. I'm here. I'm ready. The guy just doesn't use me. Dallin Hawker. What's wrong with Dallin Hawker? Dallin Hawker was available. It was a healthy scratch. What's wrong with Hawker? Getting him involved. What's wrong with these guys? Why are they healthy scratches? Why can't we get these guys involved in the offense when you need more players to get going? What's wrong with these guys? So I mean, and then of course we haven't even got to the offensive line, which is very interesting that an offensive line can't seem to get 1 yard on the goal line with multiple tries. They had zero push. You can watch the film. It wasn't good. They didn't move the ball one iota. So, I mean, in the end, the Saints have some issues here. They really do. The offensive line is completely ate up. We don't know what Cesar Ruiz looking like with that knee, but a big guy with a knee issue is never good. And we'll see what the Saints got going on, man. But this, you would think that the Saints will start looking like, Tuesday or something like that, start bringing guys in, offensive linemen in like they did before, see who they have, kind of move guys around, see if they can go and get some guy to kind of help them out there, because it's not a good thing when you have offensive linemen that can't push, that can't move or get you 1 yard. They couldn't get the Saints 1 yard on the goal line. They had to run off the left tackle with Elvin Kamara pushing through the arm tackle attempt of Caden Ellis for that touchdown. Very interesting, man. Very interesting. And of course, the defense on the other side. When you talk about the defensive effort, Demario Davis, we'll see what happened with him in the Kansas City games. Willie Gay. What does this mean for Willie Gay with the hand issue? Tyrann Mathieu won't be there. So Jordan Howard and others will have to step up and make plays. So it will be tested early and often. And of course, the Saints are now on a 2-game losing streak and potentially facing a very difficult, undefeated Super Bowl winning, defending champion Kansas City club on Monday Night Football. Anything can happen in this crazy NFL. It's not guaranteed just because they're there that we can't beat them, but we got to overcome a lot of stuff. And this is not, listen, fam, you lose these last 2 games by 5 points. And the losses are not on them. It's not the fact that these teams are beating the Saints. The Saints are helping these teams beat the Saints. They should have beat the Eagles easily. They played around, wasted time, was inept, got pushed around, stupid, bling, garbage play calling. And then in the Atlanta game, turnovers, muff return, touchdown, trying to sidearm a throw around a rushing blitzer, a rushing guy with his arms spread out. And the guy just pops the ball up, pick 6 to the house, 14 easy. Then you play games and struggle for many quarters before you finally get on the board. And then when you finally get the lead, Paulson Adebo pass interference a guy without even looking for the ball. He didn't even look for the ball, which set up the kicker, kick you into a loss. So, I mean, it's the Saints are beating themselves with stupid plays of the highest level. That's the thing that's really frustrating to me in the Who Dat Nation. Like, to lose that if they beat you because they're a better team, that's one thing. But if you look at the stats, the team doesn't score an offensive touchdown, the Falcons, and they still beat you. How is that even possible? I'm like, how? So right now, the Saints lose blowout teams in weeks 1 and 2. Then weeks 3 and 4, they look the complete opposite. Crazy. It's like it's people playing with you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, they set the world on fire. So it's like, okay, one game, we'll see. And then the next game is almost the same type of energy as the first, right? and just destroying teams. And then the third week, you lose McCoy early, which you're supposed to still adjust to win the game because they lost people too. They lost Lane Johnson and Mekhi Becton, and they still won the game. They lost people too. Atlanta lost offensive linemen too and people. They lost Matthew Judon in the game. Didn't he get hurt in the game? They lost Anderson, who had 17 tackles in the game, still won the game. Injuries is not an excuse here. You got to win when you're there. You got to win when you're in. So, like I said, that's the poll question right now. Who are the Saints? Who are the Saints? Are they the week 1 or are they the 3 or week 1 and 2 team, or are they the 3 and 4 team? We have no idea. If I had to vote, I probably would vote. I don't know too. That's why I put it in the poll. I don't know. 37% versus people believe 42%. Yeah, this is the real Saints, Q. That's what they're saying in the poll. 43% says the real Saints are the weeks 3 through 4 Saints. It's like it's the exact thing you think about when you talk about extremities to one side or the other. To the extreme, this side is blowout wins in 2 weeks. To the extreme opposite side, it's 2 funky losses that don't make any sense at all. And just 2 total separate teams are like, what's going on here? Because usually you see, at some point radically, you can see a mesh there. Okay, I can see what happened, this, that, and the third. But it's them. They're in particular. You can break down a lot of things, but if I had to go with one thing, I'm gonna go at Kubiak on this one. I did this in the Eagles match. I said, dude, you're not using none of your people like you're supposed to. And it's not like he don't, fam, listen, it's not like he don't know these players, right? It's not like he doesn't know these players because he was running them and knew what they can do in preseason. He knew what all these guys can do. He knew what Jordan Mims can do because Jordan Mims was doing that in preseason. In training camp. He was running Jamal in training camp. So he knows what these guys can do. So I ain't gonna say that he don't know, because he knows. He's just electing not to use them. Beats the hell out of me, but watch, because we bringing a light to it for the last 2 weeks. Watch they change it. Dennis Allen already spoke on it today. So it is what it is. Now, and also the Kendre Miller thing, that's potentially going to happen, to get Kendre Miller in, and it's good to get Kendre Miller back. But a point of emphasis on Kendre Miller is the fact that Kendre missed a lot of time during training camp, so he's behind on the playbook. So whatever the Saints do with Kendre Miller, it's probably going to take some time, right? If they do activate him this week and bring him to the team. But at the same time, they got guys, 2 running backs behind Alvin Kamara that they ain't even using. They're not even using them. Jordan Mims gets nothing. So it's really interesting, to say the least, man, if something like that was to happen. Anyway, let's hit this, man. Let's look at the Saints before we go to the Dennis Allen thing. Let's get the behind the numbers. Shout out to John Hendricks, man, at the Saints News Network. Brother Kyle T. Mosley, Bob Ross. Big up to those guys. Week number 4, Saints offensive snap counts and the top players. A close look at the snap counts for the Saints offense with some observations from the game. Right? Let's take a look at it. Saints are back to the drawing board after another disappointing finish, crashing back down to harsh reality after a hot start. Saints have and should have won on Sunday yet again, but they just can't seem to help but beat themselves. That's just how football goes sometimes, and they're going through it right now. Here's a look at week 4. The offensive snap count, week number 4, Saints offense finished out with 366 total net yards of offense. That's 131 rushing and 235 passing. Average 5.2 yards per play. Saints went 7 of 13, which is almost 54% on third down, and held the ball for 35-42. They finished 3 of 4, 75% in the red zone, 50% at the goal line. They look much better than last week, but also some of the play calls left you scratching your head. They put the team in position to win again in all things considered. Lucas Patrick, Landon Young, Tali Fuaga, Trevor Penning, Shane Lemieux. 74%, 100%. Carr was just sacked 1 time for a loss of 4 yards, which is a positive. That is a positive, that despite the fact with this remade interior offensive line, Carr was sacked 1 time. And really that was on Derek Carr, because Carr should have threw the ball. He tucked it. His eyes drop. When he gets a lot of pressure, his eyes drop and he gets real erratic with the ball. Like he does have wheels where he can move out and throw and do his thing. Maybe he does that more. I don't know. But boy, he does not handle pressure well. He really doesn't. Carr was just sacked one time for a loss of 4 yards. He patched up the offensive line. Actually did better than most thought. They at least showed the capability here or there. I thought Lemieux did a pretty nice job at center replacing McCoy. Derek Carr, 73% of the snaps, which is 99%. Remember, he came out on the one play with Taysom was in there that got the ball and ran it for the 4 or 5 yard pickup or something like that. Carr finished 28 of 36 for 239, had a pick to finish with an 82.8 rating. The interception was a fluke of sorts, but it should have went into the dirt. That's something he and Dennis Allen discussed following the play. He made some really good throws, but the pick six, whether you see it as his fault or not, is what hurts the most. Alvin Kamara, 61 snaps, which is 82%. Kamara was arguably the best player on the field. He played hurt. I thought the Saints would scale back his touches. Me and you both, brother, from the previous week, but he ended up finishing with 27 of them. Kamara had 77 rushing yards on 19 carries, and then the go-ahead scoring added 7 catches for 42 yards on 9 targets. His post-game interview was quite interesting to say. For the least, the team needs to find a way to win. Chris Olave, 58 snaps, 78%. Olave also played hurt, dealing with hamstring issues that he suffered in Friday's practice. He played strong, finishing with 8 catches for 87 yards on 10 targets, including a long 18-yarder. The best thing to appreciate about his performance is how many times he came up clutch to help the offense move the sticks. He played well. Rashid Shaheed, 57 snaps for 77%. Yes, the special teams blunder is what's going to be remembered in the game. No one is quite sure what the thought process was. Shaheed finished with 8 catches for 83 yards on 11 targets, including a long of 25. He was the target on the 4th down call in the end zone, was unable to come up with the one-hander. Jawan Johnson, 50 snaps, 68%. He ended up catching 2 of the 3 targets for 13 yards, totally ineffective as a catcher. He had a big reception call back due to a Trevor Penning holding penalty. The tight ends just aren't being much of a factor in the passing game, whether that's by design or just how the game is played out. Remember the dichotomy of what happened before. Saints had success because everybody had an opportunity to get involved with the offense, right? Everybody had an opportunity to get involved. The tight ends are less involved in the offense from a passing perspective over the last 2 losses. It's a part of the game. When you have a free range style offense, defense don't know what to do. They don't know because everybody's getting the ball. It's not flowing as organically as it was before. Now it's a part of the play. It's obvious the play caller's at fault here because it's his job to call the plays to get everybody involved. He's not doing that. His play calling has changed over the last 2 games. Almost like he's lost the glow of some sorts, right? We'll see if he can get it back. Foster Moreau, 42 snaps, 57%. Mason Tipton, 29 snaps, 39%. He was targeted just once on a day, secured a 6-yard catch. Adam Prentice, 24 snaps for 32%. Taysom had 15 snaps for 20%. Hill left the game with what was called an abdomen injury at first and then later revealed that it's ribs on the other side of the previous injury. So he got problems both sides. He was looking great early on, getting 24 yards on 6 carries and 2 touchdowns in the process. It's just been a season of injuries for the Saints, and we just 4 weeks into it. And that is the lesson I was saying. This is a long season. We having all of these injuries mounted up, family. We 4 weeks into this thing. That's why I kind of started the Avon Barksdale and Slim Charles skit that I started the broadcast off with, because it highlights the fact that we in it. And we're just a month worth of games in it. We had a ton of football left to play. And this is what's going on. It has to adjust. You got to get everybody involved. Why are these guys on the team if they can't help you win? That's the question, right? Cedric Wilson, 14 snaps for 19%. Jamal Williams, 11 snaps for 15%. Williams just getting a handful of looks each week. He finished out with 3 carries for 11 yards and caught both of his targets for 8 yards. Kendre Miller return might dip into it even more. I don't know about that, John. because that means Kendre Miller will have to leapfrog a guy that they got on a roster named Mims, Jordan Mims, who ain't getting anything. And Kendre Miller don't know the playbook like that. That was what Dennis Allen was. Remember, Dennis Allen was picking on Kendre Miller with that comments during the section and all that. People say, they're going to cut him and trade him. I said, no, they're not. The guy, he kept making those comments about Kendre Miller being hurt because Kendre Miller wasn't there to pick up the offense. How they going to use him if he don't know the offense? It's a process within itself to get him up to speed. And why are you trying to get him up to speed? Jordan Mims just sit there. He's a speed component that you can use. You can use him in many different ways. I wonder if Clint Kubiak going to do something about that. Bub means 6 snaps, 8%. Ali Udo had 4 snaps for 5%. The offensive 3 stars: Elvin Kamara, Chris Olave, and Taysom Hill. And all of those guys, what is the common denominator there, family? Can I get a answer for that, family? What is the common denominator for these 3 players that's mentioned that John has listed here as the offensive 3 stars? What is the common denominator here? What's the common denominator for those 3 guys right there? Because these are the guys that's the stars of the team. Can anybody answer that for me? What's up, Hakeem? How you doing, my brother? Big ups to my brother Hakeem, man. There you go, Gregory. Shout out to all of them are hurt. Hurt. L, shout out to you. KB, what's popping, baby? How you doing? All of them hurt. Be cool. What's up, brother? All hurt. All hurt. Kamara has 2 injuries, broken ribs and a hip pointer. And that's what we know, right? Chris Olave got a hamstring issue. And Taysom Hill, some believe is broken. Nick says it's a rib injury. He got rib injury on this side, something else on the other side of his body. Multiple injuries. And these are the guys we leaning on to take us. Man, they won't make it through the season at this point if they're doing this dumbness. Crazy, man. What's up, Be Cool? You all right, brother? I'm all right, brother. I'm just a little down. Rated personnel. No, it's not that. They hurt. They got it right. The family nailed it. They said these guys are hurt. 50 Coach says, I would play K in the Chiefs game, but I get it. I get it for a division game, but not this game. Let him heal. We'll need him in November. Man, who's Kubiak going to run in there? It's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be interesting. Duke says, Q, I think we need a 3rd receiver and find a way to utilize the tight end indeed. That's a good point, man. Who's the 3rd receiver for the Saints? The Saints really don't have a 3rd receiver, don't you? That's a really good point. Who's the Saints' 3rd wide receiver? Now, they did have Cedric Wilson in there, but he was 0 impact. A.T. Perry is hurt again. They don't use Bub Means, in that capacity. And Mason Tipton is the 3rd receiver. But all of those guys, you got 2 speeds to Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, and Mason Tipton is more of a slot guy right there. So I guess he's the other guy. But they don't throw at Mason Tipton like that. They don't use Mason with his 4.33 speed to stretch the field like you would see Atlanta use they use Lil Ray. You don't see them doing that with Mason Tipton. And he could take the top off your defense too. It's not just Shaheed or Chris Olave, but Mason Tipton can hit you too. He can do that too. It's just, I don't see what they got going on. Brother Hakeem says Miller is almost a must-have this week. You might have a point on that, my brother. Jack says we play in the dome, so every year it's the same BS because the turf is going to take your best players. They need to fill out a roster of dogs. They thought they had that. Greg says, Q, I was thinking that this is a borderline negligence when it comes to play calling. It's very concerning, man, to be honest with you, because I was giving Clint Kubiak a lot more credit than perhaps he deserves early on. Perhaps, to be honest with you, because I think a good offensive coordinator would not rely scarily on injured players, and he would be smart enough to see players, to see the long game, because the long game, we don't need to sacrifice these players. Right now, they do a little here, they do a little there, but we got to get other players involved to help the Saints win. We know we got stars, but it's a certain way we got to move here. It's a long season. We looking at the long game. All right, what's up, Christian? He said, whatever happened to St. Brown? He's on the practice squad, bro. Equimius St. Brown is on the practice squad. He's on the practice squad. He's still there. Austin Jr. too is on the practice squad for the receivers. And Brother Hakeem says, and our playmaker dealing with injuries, and unfortunately, we have a quarterback who only is successful if the system is working. He can't carry the team. Say it again. Say it again. Say it again, my brother Hakeem. Say it again to him, to the people in the back. Say it again. The man, we seen it yesterday, and all of the people that love to say, hey, man, you're wrong about this, that, and the third, all the fanboys and all that, they noticeably absent. You notice that? Where are all these people at that come running around here when he has a good game, but they disappear in the rat holes in which they come from when he's not around? And I like Carr, but that's what I said about giving people credit when they deserve it, when they've earned it, and giving them criticism when they earn it. Because you earn both. You earn praise and you earn criticism based on your actions. And that ain't just me, it's just your actions dictate that. What we seen from Carr in this game, with him having clean pockets and he making bad decisions out there, his eyes dropping to the level of the field, him being as shaky as he was at times in there, the interception where he threw the ball, tried to sidearm the ball around Judon, and Judon just hit it, and it just happens to pop up to the hands of the middle linebacker. The way it went up and into the field. So nobody had to dive right into the guy, it went right to the spot he was at. Very freaky stuff. Very freaky stuff. But at the end of the day, who cares? Because after they did that, the Saints still had more than let me say this again. 14 turnovers the Saints gave to the Atlanta Falcons, and they still had enough time to win the game despite the 2 touchdowns that they spotted them. They still had an opportunity. The Saints offense got the touchdown to take the lead from the Falcons, and the defense in particularly. Paulson Adebo, pass interference to wide receiver, didn't even turn around and pass interference to guy to set up them. And then the crazy part about it, Atlanta's offense is so dumb that instead of trying to use Tyler Algier, who was killing the Saints, the only reason why they didn't have 140 plus yards like the Giants did is because they chose to only run Bijan and Tyler Algier 15 to 16 times in the game when Tyler was killing the Saints. The backup guy, not Bijan. Tyler Algier was killing the Saints. He was averaging like 7-something yards a run on the Saints. Tyler Algier is running, and they elected not even use those guys. They elected to let garbage Cousins throw the ball 35 times. They had 15 carries for 88 yards. Tyler Algier averaged 7.5 yards rushing on the Saints defense. And that's with Bink Saunders back. They're not talking about that. If the Falcons was running the ball, they would have did a similar motion to what the Giants did. They were stupid. They were throwing into the Saints defense. And it could have been an interception. We could have sealed the deal, and that would have been on them. That's how stupid they were. But you did have Bijan averaging 4, Tyler averaging 7.5, and collectively they averaged 6 yards as a runner. So we do have problems. We have problems as a defense. Our defense has problems. We talk about that, fam. That's something that will rear its head. The Saints defense look awful against the run. So, yeah, it's a lot to talk about. Jason says, Cabody, I'm telling you, Q, I don't know, bro. How these other guys are not getting in here. They're not getting any reps. The guy's not playing anybody. Hakeem said the fact we don't have depth at the key positions is chilling. Guys playing injured further dooms us because that only hurts those guys. Greg says, Q, we need a bigger body at the wide receiver position. EQ, St. Brown would help us out some key possessions late in the game, bigger catch radius over the middle. Right now, they got Cedric Wilson in there. A.T. Perry can't even see the field because he can't stay healthy. Yeah, so it's really interesting to see how this is going to play and if the Saints are going to make any adjustments to the offensive roster going into the Kansas City game. They have a little extra time being that this is a Monday night game against KC. But at the same time, it's a lot of stuff. Now we focusing on the obvious stuff, but there's a lot of stuff behind that we talk about the Saints defense breaking down in key moments. They show up and handle business. The offense, then it's this weird game of, I'm not carrying this water today. You carry it. No, I carry it. No, you carry it. The Saints spent a lot of money and resources on the offense to still be up and down like this. Doesn't make any sense. And the energy is not the same. Like the week 1, we had Derek Carr grabbing his crotch and doing the Michael Jackson dance. None of that in weeks 3 and 4. The confidence level is way down. The play calling is off. The injuries are here, yes, but that's a part of the game. We knew that. That's why we got depth charts. We got the depth charts to adjust. Now, we know we can't replace an Elvin Kamara or Taysom Hill, not by one person, but that's why you have a collage of different people that you have to use your imagination to get involved. How imaginative is our offensive coordinator? It's a big test for this man because we're staring down a 3-game losing streak. And, of course, the Saints will be, if they lose, they'll be 2-3, which isn't so bad. Then you have Tampa Bay, and then which we're playing pretty decently. And then on a short week, Denver, who's playing a lot better. I don't know if y'all been watching Denver, but Denver looks a lot better than what they've been look. So Sean Payton's system starting to kick in Denver. So that ain't going to be an easy game. So they got a lot of stuff to fix, man, going forward, man. We got to find out. We got to find out. Yeah, Hakeem says we don't have a third wide receiver. This is true. I mean, who's the guy? And we see Mason Tipton a lot. Cedric Wilson was in there, but none of these guys are as effective as you would want them to be. That's another thing. Yeah, a third wide receiver would be helpful. So I don't know, man. And it's also, it's a lot of questions, isn't it, family? Yeah. And exactly, Hakeem says, now Tyrann Mathieu has a pull grown. If I'm not mistaken, that's another major injury. Yeah, it's word on the street he's supposed to miss some weeks. That's what I'm hearing about him. I don't know what to say about that. The Saints defense now, Demario Davis, I don't know if he plays next week. He had a little hamstring issue. Willie Gay has a hand issue. We don't know where that is. So all this will be answered as we going forward. So, it's getting kind of hectic. It's getting. Yeah, oh yeah. You remember that? Y'all remember that song? It's getting kind of hectic. It's getting. I don't know. I'm gonna have to clip that up and start playing. It's getting kind of hectic. It's getting. Hold on, fam. Hold on. Was that Snap? Help me out, my older people. I don't want to show my age right here. It's getting. That's what's popping up in my mind. It's getting kind of hectic. It's getting. Hold on. Let me see if I can find that. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I got the power. I think that was Snap. Man. It's getting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to clip that. I'm gonna have to clip that and put that on there. It's getting, because it really is getting kind of hectic. It's getting. Oh yeah, you ain't lying. It's getting kind of hectic. It's getting hectic real quick. Oh man. Hold on, fam. Let me see. Hold on here. Y'all know me. Hold on. Oh yeah. Here it is. Oh yeah, that's how the Who That Nation feel right now, fam. That's how the Who That Nation feeling right now, man. Yeah, Snap, I got the power. It's getting kind of, oh yeah, that's where it's getting. That's what, but we're not all a dancer and shit. But yeah, but we gonna see that. I'm gonna tell you this was filmed in the future. They're actually in the Saints locker room, right? They went into the future and filmed it. And it's two of the Saints wide receivers behind this guy dancing in the locker room and clubs. Yeah. Yeah. It's getting kind of hectic. Yeah, you know what? That's the new theme right there, fam. That's the new theme right there. It's getting kind of hectic. That's what Clint Kubiak said. Clint Kubiak said right now. I think he was in the background dancing as this brother was rapping, man. That's what Clint Kubiak said. I think that was Chris Olave behind him right there, man. That's Chris Olave and them in the background dancing there. Chris Olave, what you doing? What's crazy about this video? Y'all think I'm playing. He's wearing a Raiders hat. Fam, did y'all see that? Y'all think I'm playing. The dude is wearing a Raiders hat and saying it's getting kind of hectic. And guess who was a where the hat? Look. Who you know came from the Raiders? Oh man, I was just playing, and then look what we found. We found a link. We found a link. Oh my goodness, man. Oh man, it's getting kind of hectic. If it's the Who Dat Nation, man, it's getting kind of it's getting hectic in this piece. All right, man. Hey, what can I tell y'all, man? It's weird how it works out, man. But anyway, here's the man with the plan, man, as you want to call him that. Here's Mr. Dennis Allen. Here we go.
Now go on. You take care of the cake. You possum puss, get that punch out there or you'll get one from me. Go on.
All right. Look, don't feel a lot differently this afternoon than I did, yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening. Felt like there was a number of things that we did well, and yet, we've got to find a way to make the plays at the end of the game and give ourselves an opportunity to win. You can't spot your opponent 14 points in a tightly contested game and expect to win. So there's some things that we've got to clean up. We spent the better part of
Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. He said the words.
You might call me Santa friend, but I'm the cleanup man.
The reason I know so much about him is because he's moved up an old girl of mine.
Swept her right off her feet and into the jazz.
turn our focus to Kansas City this afternoon. Look, we had, a number of guys with bumps, bruises, whatever, throughout the course of the game. We'll continue to evaluate those guys. So I'm not really going to go into a lot of injury stuff with you guys today. I think we got to put out an injury report on Thursday. So I think that'll be the next time we'll have a lot of injury information.
10 seconds. I mean, when did the position that go you at center out?
Well, I think it kind of gets back to, if you move Lucas inside, well, now you're moving Lucas inside. You're already making one change at guard. You'd have to make another change at guard. There's just a lot of moving parts that go along with that. And we felt like that was the best five that gave us, the best chance to have success. It wasn't perfect yesterday, but I thought overall, it was a solid performance by our offensive line. Well, we just hadn't made the plays, played against Philly. We ran into each other, and, this one we just kind of got beat. They made a good play. We didn't make the type of play that we needed to. And look, that's what these games are going to end up coming down to. When you want to be a good team, you're going to play in a lot of tightly contested games, and we've got to find ways to win those things. We've put ourselves in those positions, but we're not making the plays at the end of the day to win it, and that's what you have to do in a league.
A lot of opinions, obviously, following the game on when it should be man, when it should be zone, when it should be soft zone. What's your philosophy on how to play a game? I know each one is different.
Look, yeah, I mean, well, the coverage that we were playing was zone coverage. All right, so there's certain times that it puts you in a little bit, a little bit more of a one-on-one type of deal. So I don't fall into the deal on should you be in man, should you be in zone, should you be in whatever. When it doesn't work out, then you should have done the opposite of what you did, and it worked. When it works out, then that's what you should have done. So, yeah, that's the way I feel about that.
Do you, in general, I know we used to talk about how you like to blitz on Hail Marys and things like that. Like, do you, in general, like to treat protecting these situations similar to how you treat the other 59 minutes?
Yeah, look, I don't think we played that game and didn't allow a touchdown defensively. So there was a lot of things that we did well. And so I don't think you go into the last 2 minutes and say, well, let's all that stuff that we just got through doing, let's throw all that stuff out and let's change and do something different. We're going to play, defense the way that we play defense. And, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think over the course of time, it's been pretty successful, but, these last couple of games hadn't been as good as we need them to be.
The order is just for your assessment of all the order.
I think we need to improve. I think we need to be better. I think we need to put ourselves in position to win games and figure out how to close them out and how to finish them. And that's what we haven't done a good enough job of doing. And so we collectively, players, coaches, everybody, we have to do a better job when we put ourselves in those situations of being able to make the right, whether it be the right call, the right play, whatever the case may be, to win in those situations.
What did you think of the offense after Jason went out? Did you see a drop off?
Well, look, I don't think we ran the ball as well in the second half as we did, in the first half. I don't think we can totally attribute that to Taysom being in there or not in there. I think.
Seriously? We can't?
To Taysom being in there or not in there. Well, look, I don't think we ran the ball as well in the second half as we did, in the first half. I don't think we can totally attribute that to Taysom being in there or not in there.
If Taysom didn't get hurt, Saints would have won the game. Fam, I don't know if Dennis Allen is just kind of doing a little deflection game to not make it look bad. But fam, Taysom Hill had 6 carries for 40 yards. He averaged 4 yards a carry, and he had 2 rushing touchdowns. He had 2 touchdowns. He was responsible for 12 points outside the 2 extra points by a kicker, of course. Let's just say 7 each. So he had 14 points onto himself. Then he disappears the second half. The Saints don't look the same. The same way in the third game. That's the common denominator in many of these games is Taysom Hill. Clint Kubiak doesn't look the same as an offensive coordinator if he doesn't have access to Taysom Hill, a healthy Taysom Hill. Things change. If Taysom was healthy and finished the game, the Saints would have won the game. I promise you that. So I'm definitely disagreeing with that. That was a correlation. Taysom had 2 rushing touchdowns in the game. He was a big factor. Even Lowe said that. Lowe says, Q, you know what happened? After the post game, Lowe was like, Q, you know what really changed? When Taysom Hill got hurt, they know because Taysom kills the Falcons. He kills them every time he play him. He was on the way of having probably another touchdown. You'd have been responsible for 21 points. So I don't agree with that. Then I don't know if he's playing coy or he's just trying to do a little deflection, but I don't agree with that at all, man.
I think we've got to find some other guys that can make plays for us other than Alvin, Olave, Taysom. I thought she did some good things, from an offensive perspective in the game. So, it's hard to sit here and say, when you lose a game like that there's a lot of positives, and yet when you watch the tape, there's some good things that are happening. But at the end of the day, we got to make a place to win.
People see Jason go out and wonder if this offense has like an over reliance on him. I guess you feel like that's not Jason.
I don't know. I don't. I mean, I think we, still feel like we moved the ball, and we scored a touchdown to take the lead with a minute to go in the game. So I felt like there were still some things that we could do. I think that we've got to eliminate, some of the mistakes that cost us a little bit. But yeah, I wouldn't say that's the overriding factor.
What's your anticipation for how much Kendrick Miller might be able to contribute to that after all of that?
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know the answer to that yet.
Obviously, you talked about defense playing so well, and then 1-2 plays the last couple of weeks get highlighted and dissected. But some of that second guessing comes from Kurt Warner and Benny Wilson. Is that something you have to point out to the team, since those are people?
No, as a matter of fact, I have no idea who had any comments. I don't think we can pay attention to any of that stuff. I think, we know the things that we have to do to try to win games, and we haven't done it as much over the course of the last few years as we had done in the past, and yet it's the same calls, for a stretch of time that was part of winning a lot of games. So,
Right, just for clarification, like that, right? Don't know if they'll practice this week or just not practice.
yeah, I don't know that.
Last thing you said, you're going to disappoint in the pass rush.
Not probably as much as it disappointed me last night. When you go back and watch the tape, there's a few more times where there's a little bit of pressure around the quarterback. Look, I thought we affected the passer. I mean, I think he was 21 of 35, whatever that percentage comes out to. No touchdown passes. They did have a couple of explosives. I don't think we played third down as well as we needed to in the first half, but they were 1 of 5 in the second half on third down. So we made some corrections there. We got better there. So can it be better? Yeah. Do we need it to be better? Yeah. But I didn't feel like it was as big a negative maybe as what I had originally thought yesterday.
You come up with a big loss like this, by the time you get to the tape, you're able to take the emotion out of it. You watch the tape back 24 hours later. It's sting, I guess. Like it.
Yeah, no.
Saying that about pass rush, like, heat of the moment.
Yeah.
Obviously everything.
Yeah. No, I think I was even saying this to Mickey and Michael Parrington today. That don't take anything that I say right now too seriously, because there's a lot of things that you say in the heat of the moment, and you're pissed off that you got beat, and you feel like 2 weeks in a row. Last week, I don't know that we played good enough to win, and yet we put ourselves in a position that we had an opportunity to. This week, I felt like we played good enough to win in a lot of areas, and still came away with a loss. So that was frustrating. And so yeah, you come off these things and you're a little bit emotional, and so you got to kind of give yourself a little bit of time to come to your senses a little bit, and then we move forward.
What are your guys' pass rush? You guys have no sacks, but do you like the amount of pressure you're getting in general? Is that kind of like,
Well, I think you always want more. You always want more. I haven't done the study yet to see exactly, what the quarterback rating is and what the completion percentage is and what the pressure percentage is. I haven't really, gotten into really studying that a whole lot.
And I know that you haven't gotten into the film yet, but just overarching with Reed and Mahomes and just kind of what they've been able to do with the challenges they present without kind of having gotten into their film yet.
I think they're pretty good. Look, defending Super Bowl champs, multiple Super Bowl champs. I think they're a really good team. I think they're really well coached. I think the quarterback's outstanding. They're playing good defense right now. They've always been really good in the kicking game. So, and it's tough to go into Kansas City and win. So, we got our work cut out for us, but that's the task that we've been dealt, and we got to be able to rise up to the occasion.
Sorry, just kind of a personal question here. You talk about like not taking, knowing it's emotional sport, knowing that it's still emotional today. at some point, do you ever like lean into that and like throw the chair across the room or kick? Because you've always been so calm and even keel, handling the good and the bad. I'm just kind of curious if at some point, like, you know, I know more did the coulda, woulda, shoulda deal and things like that, and everybody's personas are different. I was just curious.
I think if you ask the players in the locker room, there's plenty of times that you know they see that passion and that emotion. I may not always show it here in this environment, you know, but yeah, there's I don't think there's any doubt about that players feel when I'm not happy about something. Yeah.
Yeah, just going back to Taysom for a second. Even though you say you're not as relying on him since the offense isn't as dynamic, what do you think is happening when he's not in the game in the offense?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't feel the same way that obviously you guys feel in terms of the loss of Taysom. I mean, I certainly feel like we're affected when we don't have him, available to us. And yet I still think we have the ability to be, an effective offense. So I don't feel the same way that obviously you guys feel.
I know you're going to put a prognosis or timetable on it yet. I mean, did he break ribs?
How, bro? How, Sway? I mean, your offensive coordinator, man. I mean, that's how we see things, right? Is that diverse? Really? I mean, if we sticking to stats, just what's in front of your face, the performance, in the two losses, when the Saints didn't have Taysom Hill, they lost because the way Clint Kubiak schemes them, he uses them all over the place. He moves them all over the place more than anybody. And then you've seen to a degree, even in the Philly matchup, you didn't see the same way he was using Rashid Shaheed as a guy that gets the ball on the end around, stuff like that. You didn't see him use that in the Philly game. You didn't see a lot of that. It just got vanilla. That's the problem. The problem is when Kubiak, and this is very obvious, and if we see this, I know they see it, is that that Clint Kubiak, if he doesn't have access to a healthy Taysom Hill, the offense suffers a lot. Because if Taysom was available for the rest of the game, the Saints would have beaten the Falcons. And why is it? Because Clint Kubiak would have utilized him in that way. He doesn't see other players, other running backs outside of Alvin Kamara the same way. And we know Taysom and Alvin, those are playmakers of epic level, but you only have so many of those guys. Like you have, I call them the mismatch nightmare players. You have Alvin, you have Taysom, you have Olave, you have Rashid Shaheed. These are guys that's hard to deal with. But the beauty of it is you got to get the second level and the third level guys involved while those guys are getting attention. That's how it works. That way, nobody gets overworked and the offense flows. And they're not doing that. And you can see that they're not doing that in the Philly game. And you've seen it pop up again in the Atlanta game when you lost Taysom. How was Jamal Williams not being utilized, especially late in the game? Like we seen the Giants do that. I was literally saying, watch the Giants about to get ready to start using Barkley against the Saints because they knew when the second half of the game starts, power backs like Barkley get stronger because the defense gets tired and they don't want to tackle a guy like that. And he just ran all over them in the second half. Falcons could have did the same thing with Tyler Algier because Tyler Algier, like I said, was averaging 7.5 yards on the Saints. Every time he got the ball, he averaged 7.5 yards. Saints did not have an answer for him. The dumb Falcons dialed back off of that and relied on that Cousins dude. But in the end, this is a situation where the offense keeps getting vanilla when guys move out because the guy refuses to use other guys. And of course, we know that Jamal Williams is not on the level of Taysom Hill, but you got to know how to put these guys in positions to win games. You got to put Jamal there, even if you move Kamara out and decoy him just to spread out the defense and then hit him with a north-south runner, 3rd and 4th. He has to get carries later on in the game. If Taysom's not going to be available, you got to use Jamal Williams. You got a guy in Jordan Mims. Jordan Mims can help. He catches the ball out of the back like a wide receiver. He's very quick around the edges. He can run in between. Jordan Mims can help you. Somebody get a telegraph or whatever you won't call it, because he seemed like he way back in the old-timey days. I don't know what's going on with this guy. Somebody please tell him, and Dennis Allen alluded to it in his interview, that we got to use other guys. No shit, Sherlock. We said that 2 weeks ago. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the party, dude. How do you have all of these guys and the man don't want to use them, and you just saying it now after the Saints collect a second loss? Why was this not said after the Philly game? Why is everything so freaking delayed with these people? Why is it so delayed? Why? Why is everything so delayed with these people, man? Why? I don't get it. I don't understand. That's so frustrating, man. We got to figure it out. We said that 2 weeks ago about this, and a lot of stuff around Dennis Allen we said 2 years ago. Go back and listen to the shows. It's not hard. What are these guys paying attention to? Football is their business. They supposed to. They do this for a living. They get paid very handsomely to just be all about the business of New Orleans Saints football. Just all about the business. But the support base, the Great Saint Think Tank and others in the Who Dat Nation have access to all 22. They can study the film just like they do. That makes the game a lot more difficult on the coaches, because now everybody else can see what they're doing or not doing. We can study the coach's tape. We can see if Carr is staring people down or not throwing the ball to where it belongs. We can see it on the tape. We can see you out there screwing up. We can see everything. That makes it hard on those guys. They don't like that. But how is everything so delayed, man? I don't understand, bro. If we would have adjusted to this after the Philly game, we would have beat Atlanta. And then make no bones about it. Losing to Atlanta is not something that we want to do. We don't want to lose to the Falcons, especially the way we gave the Falcons 14 points, still had a chance to win and then give it up on the last play by Paulson Adebo. That's unfathomable, man. It's so frustrating, family. So frustrating. These people get everything so late. Why? He don't have a job driving a bus or teaching school somewhere or working at the airport or, whatever you may do. Secretary, work at the hospital. I don't know. He don't have that. All he does is get paid to be all about the business of New Orleans Saints football. That's all he gets paid to do. And I'm saying stuff that a guy that's supposed to be 1,000% dialed in just getting 2 weeks later. How does this man not get this? And he got it 2 weeks later after we collect a second loss. These come back to hurt you. These are divisional losses. Plus is a hated rival. You don't want to lose these games. They come back to hurt you. My goodness, man. How a guy gets paid all this money to be about this, about playing football and all this, and then, I don't get it, man. I really don't get it. Let me finish up with this.
Yeah, I don't really answer that. I do not.
The fact that he's at 2 injuries, though, in durability. I don't know how to phrase it. Are you guys worried about the way you want to involve him in the offense?
Yeah. Look, I mean, I think we got to keep that in mind. And I think I've said that for the last couple of years. You're talking about a guy that's he's had some injuries in the past, and he's still an effective player. He's getting a little older, but he's still an effective player. And so I think we got to be mindful as to, how many times we're running him into the briar patch.
Go back to the question on the Chiefs. That might seem obvious, so forgive me, but what could a win like that, beating them, do to just help the overall mood after this one?
I think anytime you get a win in this league, I think it's big. I think it's big for your confidence. I think we're a team that needs to play well, and I think we're a team that needs to win. And it's certainly going to be a challenge going into Kansas City and having to, play that team. I think it goes without saying. I think they're, a really good football team.
All right, that's enough of you, man. I don't understand, man. I don't get it. I really don't. And that, to me, is a part of the problem. This guy here is the head coach of the New Orleans Saints. This guy right here, old possum puss. This guy, this flipping guy, he's the coach of the team.
Now go on. You take care of the cake. You possum puss. Get that punch out there or you'll get one from me. Go on.
This guy is the guy that runs the team, that makes an observation about the team 2 weeks later, that if he'd have been a game faster, would have saved this game. Because if he ordered the offensive coordinator to adjust his lineup for injuries, which is what an offensive coordinator is supposed to do, then perhaps we don't lose this game. Perhaps. Right? But it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. Hemisphere says, Q, my question is, why are they so dependent on Taysom to make plays? Then what are the rest of the players doing on offense? They doing their thing, but that's a Clint Kubiak question, bro. That's what I'm looking at. I'm like, dude, if you're a play caller, your job is, number one, get your caller, obviously call the correct plays, but you have to, the main mind frame is to get your players in position to be successful. That's what the play caller is supposed to be doing. That's the number one goal, is to get players in position to have success. In order to know that, you got to know the scouting report of each one of your players, which means their top attributes and what they could bring to the offense, perhaps in certain moments of the game, which could be crucial. Perhaps Jamal Williams on the goal line instead of Alvin Kamara might have helped. Who knows? All I'm saying is, at the end of the day, who's the power runner here? If you have a Taysom Hill and he's hurt, who's the next power guy? It's Jamal Williams. Then those reps have to go to Jamal Williams. Or they have to go to him. He's Kamara's backup, even though the Saints are using Taysom like he's Alvin Kamara backup. It's really Jamal Williams is the backup. The same Jamal Williams 2 years ago had 17 rushing touchdowns to lead the NFL. Do I have to mind who that nation of that? The man had 17 rushing touchdowns 2 years ago. 2 years ago. 17 rushing touchdowns for the Detroit Lions in 1 year. Led the NFL. Saints don't even use him. Like we can't trust them. The guy had 17 rushing touchdowns in 1 year. And you don't think of that when you at the goal line? The guy doesn't know his personnel. He must don't, because he's not you. You got to know as an offensive coordinator or a player period, or offensive coach or a coach period, if you're going to put these people in positions on the field, you got to put them in positions to be successful. You know that Jamal Williams will be a player that you can use in a goal line situation because he's a power back. He's a north-south runner with power. He'll be effective late in the game, in third and fourth quarter. When the defense, you're running on defense, they're tired, he's a good change of pace back. You can run with Alvin Kamara. Hell, you could put Kamara out there, spread him out, and put Jamal Williams in there, stretch the defense out and hit him with Williams. Hell, you can get even more creative and put all three of them out there, Alvin Kamara, Jamal Williams, and Jordan Mims. Mims could catch like a wide receiver and has really good speed. I don't get what they're saying. So they're having like none of these guys can help. Jamal Williams is the backup, but he had free carries. It's just, I don't know what the guy thinking, man. I don't know. But if Dennis Allen would have got this great epiphany a week ago, perhaps we could have beat the Falcons, because it's never a good thing to lose to the Falcons. Never. And under any circumstance, losing to the Falcons is not what we want to do, especially when you're helping them win the game. People was pissed about this loss because the way the Saints played around. It was disrespect. It was a disrespectful, sad ass loss. Even this guy got up here and started cursing on there. Said a curse word. I'm sorry. I'm like, get out of here. Get out of here. Did anybody when anybody heard Dennis Allen curse on the press conference on the post stream? He said a curse word. People's like, man, shut up. It wasn't like what oh. It wasn't the same like you seen Brian Kelly when they lost to USC. LSU lost to USC in the first in week 1 of the college football season. We've won 4 straight since then, by the way, 4-1. But Brian Kelly came out of character and pounded the desk in anger. He rarely shows that. He's always calm, reserved, but he broke character and showed and pounded the table in anger about the loss. That was like, oh wow, I gotta do better. And you heard the passion come out of that, because the guy is hardworking. He's a smart coach. He takes advantage. He watches over everything. He does his best. That's why everywhere he goes, he wins. He got the recipe. This guy cursing, like, shut up. Seriously. He had a curse. Shut up. Because a lot of this is your fault, because you're not looking at everything that's going on with the team. Even we sit here and watch the team, and I think in a lot of ways, the Who Dat Nation knows the team better than some of these people. It's like, well, how could that be, Q? They be in that building and all that kind of stuff. I ain't talking about the personal business or how the guy like football or playing football games or Pokemon, all that kind of stuff. I ain't talking about the personal stuff. I'm talking about the stuff on the field that you see. What they do, because you can break the film down. You have enough of tape and film and interviews and everything where you can pretty much put together the football player on the field. I care not about the football player off the field. That don't have nothing to do with me unless it's hurting the team. But the football player on the field, that's how we build up pattern recognition on Dennis Allen, Mickey Loomis, Derek Carr, and all these other guys. It's pattern recognition. It's pattern recognition. So if I'm Dennis Allen, I understand, hey, listen, last week that was a loss that shouldn't have happened. Philadelphia is not that good right now. They're not. And for you to lose the game like you did to Philly, and then Tampa Bay says, hold on, y'all was struggling with these people, and literally bat the shit out of Philadelphia and smack them down. Because Philly was doing everything to lose the game, just like Atlanta was doing. These birdie teams, I talked about them on the stream last. I was talking about these bird brain teams. They do crazy stuff. Like the last drive the Falcons had, they had Kirk Cousins throwing into the Saints defense. And it was almost intercepted by Jordan Howden. He jumped, and the ball was just off of his fingernails, right off the end of his fingertips. I was like, that is so stupid. Why are they throwing the ball? Dumb birdie team, dumb bird brain teams doing stupid stuff. But he's like, yeah, we might be dumb birdie brain teams too. We beat y'all team. Well, guess what? We a bunch of bird brains here. Because that's what we playing like. And this guy right here is doing everything wrong here. Get on your team, man. Pay attention to these guys, man. Get on it, man. It's crazy, man. I don't understand what the logic is, man, because listen, this is a brief look at the logic of our head coach. Getting everything late. The tape said the same stuff you've seen in part of how the Saints, the same bland calling. It was a little bit better in the game, but still at the end of the game when you lost Taysom, the guy didn't adjust. The guy needs Taysom to move him all around. Put him here, put him there, and he don't have Taysom. Dude he just gets, his fallback, the automatic mental kick-in device is, let's just overrun on Elvin. Put it all on Elvin. When Taysom is away, Clint can't play. That's how I go. When Taysom is away, Clint can't play. The fallback mechanism is, I don't have Taysom, just put it all on Alvin Kamara. Well, hold on, coach. Alvin has multiple injuries. Shouldn't we spread the ball around? He'll be all right. He'll be all right. That's Alvin Kamara. Crazy, man. Mr. O says, I'm surprised after D.A. Kersey didn't try to hug another guy's stomach. Saints for Life says Eagles and Falcons were winnable games, but these guys just gave the game away. No sense of urgency. I do not like this at all. What's up, T-Mama? Shout out to T-Mama. Appreciate you, baby. How you doing? You doing all right today? Good to see you. All right. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, fam. I try to think about it, fam, but I'm coming up with blanks here. I don't understand what's going on here. JT says, Q, anybody ever asked the question? I don't think Derek is a Clint Kubiak QB. Think about it. No, he isn't. He isn't a Clint Kubiak style QB, but that's what they got to work with. That's Dennis Allen's handpicked guy. You got to work with him. I don't know what's going on here. And this is not this is not a really difficult thing to do. It's not a difficult fix. Just get other guys involved. You pick these guys. I didn't pick, man, these people pick these guys to be here. They pick these guys, offensively speaking. They pick these guys. They picked these guys. They said these guys earned their way on the team. They created a 53-man roster of offense, defense, and special teams players. And on offense, Clint Kubiak had a lot to do with these players he picked. He picked these players and said they were the ones that we can go into the season with and win. And then we get into the season. We don't use Jamal Williams. We don't use Jordan Mims. What's up with Bub Means? If Bub Means is on the team and we having issues with A.T. Perry, Cedric Wilson just got through getting hurt or whatever the case is, he's not really. Right now, we need to get Cedric Wilson involved too, fam. We definitely need to get a third wide receiver involved in this stuff, man. Yeah, because they were throwing to Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. We got to spread the ball out. Cedric Wilson, one of these other guys. We need to get a third guy involved here. You know, they picked these guys. This was the guys that Clint Kubiak said that he wanted on his offense. And then you don't use the guys. I'm pretty sure a guy like Dallin Hawker could help in some capacity. He's a tight end that catches like a wide receiver. We can't use him. They picked these guys, man, and now we don't know what to do with them. I don't understand. They picked them. I didn't. I don't get it. But we'll see what happens. Well, I mean, it should be a change because we were saying, well, I don't even know if they've seen it. Dennis Allen just says we need to get other guys involved. Same stuff we said last week to him and said we need to diversify more, brother. We need to get more people involved in offense, not named Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill, Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. I said that same thing last week. Almost like a dude, some type of weird sock puppet of some sort. It's weird. It's like freaking Operation Mockingbird or some crap. I don't get it. It's crazy, man. Everything is delayed like a bad signal. It's crazy, man. Anyway, I'm going to get a few more comments and I'm going to get on out of here, man. That's pretty much all I got for tonight, man. All right. Saints for Life says run defense is non-existent after Barkley ran all over them. You would think they would come ready for Robinson and Algieri. These guys were eating in key moments. 6 yards a clip. Previous week was 7. That's a big problem that we're not even focusing on right now because the glaring vanilla style or the plays of the offense is dominant right now. And some of the spot bad plays defensively speaking, like the Saints offense, despite the turnovers. Now check this out. And I said this earlier, despite the Saints turning the ball over and spotting Atlanta 14 points, they did take the lead back with about a minute, I want to say, left in the game. Then all they had to do was keep Atlanta out of field goal range, and Paulson flipping a Debo goes down there and pass interference the guy, didn't even turn to locate the ball and puts him in field goal range. Now, that's when you get on the defense and say, bro, what the hell, man? Because the offense, despite all of the bull crap that happened, took the lead back. Now, there were some questions of whether or not they should have went for the 2-point conversion or whatever the case may have been. But at the end of the day, and it didn't make no difference. It wouldn't have made much of a difference at all anyway, would it? It's just what it is, man. I don't know what to say about him, man. So you would expect with him saying that in this press conference that when the rest of the weeks roll around, you're going to start seeing more guys involved with the offense now, because based on some of these reports, we don't even know if we'll have Taysom for the Kansas City game. These guys are banged up pretty good, and Elvin Kamara got all this stuff going on with him. We don't know, man. I don't know, but based on what I've seen through 4 weeks, we've seen enough of the team for 4 weeks to know. Based on what I've seen from Clint Kubiak, I'm saying this: when Taysom's away, Clint can't play. I'm sorry, man. When Taysom's away, Clint can't play. Think about that. Yeah, we'll see. Ty says y'all don't mad if DA is back next year. L-Dub says depends on how bad the Saints lose, because there's still a lot of football left to be getting in that conversation, bro. All right. L-Dub says the thing with the Saints is they hear us and they do what we want them to do next game, and then the game after that, they'll go back to their old ways. Saints for Life says, yeah, he threw it right at him. This is just covering up total BS. What's up, Kev? Says Carr isn't looking at those guys, Q. Yeah, I know. I seen some of the film, man. Y'all watch it. I don't know if y'all sent some of the family members will see the film. I'm gonna do the all 22 tomorrow on Patreon. Okay, Head Trauma says, please get that dude off the screen. Yeah, I got him off. I got old Possum Puss out of there. Yeah, it's footage, man. I was watching the all 22. For those who've seen it, you've seen it. You're seeing on some of the plays, he's not going through the full progression plate again. And it's not the fact he's getting guys in his face. Some of the plays, he has a clean pocket, like a 5-yard buffer. And he's not going through his full progressions. He's doing it again. His bad habits are popping up again. So, but I expected those bad habits because the man been doing that for 10 years, man. The man been doing that for 10 years and getting away with it. I don't expect him to change all that in 1 year. I'm going to be honest with you, man. It takes time. The only way you get rid of bad habits is by replacing them with good habits. You can't just drop a habit and then have nothing there. You have to pull the old one out and replace it with a good one. Like if you're a person that walks past a restaurant or drive past a certain restaurant that got cuisine, and you on a certain day seem to go over there and get you something to eat because on a certain day they serve something, and then you're like, you know what, I don't need to keep doing that anymore because it's expensive and I don't really need to be eating that like that. Let's just use that as an example. Well, you created a pattern. Like I always say, people, that's how they use this predictive pattern. That's why the artificial intelligence is so prevalent. It studies humans. The artificial intelligence studies the patterns of human, and then what it does is get into forecasting, where then it'll predict the patterns of humans. What's the purpose of that? Ultimately, if it can predict your patterns, then it can then control what you do. You can't control something you don't know what it's doing. Pattern recognition. You call it routines. Some people call it rituals. But a routine is a pattern. I often tell people, my couples out there, I say, if you got a disagreeable and underhanded girlfriend or boyfriend or something like that, and you have weird feelings that pop up every now and again, and you ain't tripping, and it's something instinctually, you could be wrong. It could be a false positive. You never know. But at the end of the day, if you feel something in there in a pattern, you pay attention, because sometimes people break patterns for a reason. Something going on, because people are pattern driven. That's when the comfort levels and all that gets involved. They feel comfortable because you get up, you go to work, you come home, you do what you do. You got a pattern. You go to work at the same time of the day, you eat lunch at the same time of the day, whatever the case may be, you got a pattern. Some people have a little bit more complexity in there, but it's still a pattern to that extra complexity complexion. So it's very unique. But in the end, that's how you're able to recognize what's going on is by pattern. So if the Saints dealing with Kubiak, right, and the rest of the NFL has recognized the patterns. I've recognized them. I've recognized he's running the same plays. I don't see any new wrinkles. He's at 4 weeks in, he's supposed to be introducing new wrinkles to the offense. He's supposed to have new layers. Because if you're running the offense and they responded that well in week 1 and 2, you're supposed to introduce new layers of the offense to keep them guessing. Them people done caught up to you and what you're doing. Plus, they realize that you lack the ability to delve into the roster that you chose, not me. You chose that roster and not utilizing the players. And you're supposed to know who these players are. You're supposed to have a scouting report to know this guy's good at doing this. He's good at doing this. This other guy's good at doing this. And I can centralize it where I have him in the game at this point. And then move this, do that, and through it. You know, that's what you got to come up to. That's your job. That's all you have to do as a head coach is to think about how to make your team better. You don't have to get up and do none of this other kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure they pay you well enough to not to worry about nothing but making the team better. It's pattern recognition, man. That's what it's all about. That's the game. If you a person that's good, if you study human beings, if you study people, you'll get it all because people you'll recognize and figure out the patterns. Now, some people, like I said, a little bit more complex than others because they say they're erratic or unpredictable. That's not true. If you study them long enough, you'll get the pattern. A lot of people try to switch it up and whatnot, but you know, that's very difficult to do. But breaking a bad pattern, you got to replace it with a good one. So when you walking past or driving past that restaurant, instead of going over there because it's expensive and it probably ain't good for you, replace it with something else. Say a prayer when you go past, whatever the case may be, that's not as harmful. You got to switch out the behavior with another behavior that's a productive behavior. That's game. That's game. That's how you figure this all out. That's how you do it. Jack says, they will make a change, but they will keep doing it, and other teams will catch up, and then they keep doing it over and over again. L-Dub says Adebo should be benched next week in favor of Kool-Aid because Adebo has a target on his back from other offensive coordinators to attack his side. He didn't do a bad job. He had an interception in the game. He just had a foul play on the back end of the game, which really hurt. But he still had an interception. He still was like among the top 3 or 4 tacklers on the team, I want to say. Yeah, Paulson Adebo was he was the number 1 tackler. The only bad thing you can say about Paulson Adebo in that game is he had 2 PIs, I want to say. I think he had 2 pass interferences in that game. The second one was a killer because it put Young Ho Koo in position to kick the winner. But Paulson Adebo had 12 tackles and an interception. And if the Saints would have won from a defensive standpoint, he probably would have been a player of the game for the Saints. 12 tackles, an interception, but also 2 pass interference. So you take the good with the bad, right? He was 12 tackles deep in the game, All right, Saints for Life says, I've seen Carr throw 10 times. He screwed up. Once the pressure was, threw it right into Judon, and he was in the face and was stupid. It would be better to take the sack than get an INT. Yeah, he tried to sidearm the ball around Matthew Judon, and Judon just popped the ball up. He put his hand and blocked it. He seen what he was doing. T-Mama says Dennis Allen should not even be in the TS or in the position. That's the sad part. He just don't have what it takes. It's not in him. Yeah. Well, yeah, you're right. He was Sean Payton's pick. You're right, T-Mama. You're right. Hemisphere says Q, it's like self-evaluation to see what tendencies you're showing to make changes to improve in areas that make you predictable. See, that's the thing though. If you have like predictability, that's one thing, like, cause everybody got a pattern. Being unpredictable, That's not what I'm hitting at. What I'm hitting at is if you have a pattern that's productive, right? And you're doing positive things and it's working for you, you're going to improve. You're going to improve and do other things. Like if you look into be in better shape or better health, it's a process. It's you have to get rid of the things that took you out of shape with something that's going to get you into shape. Drinking more water, eating better, not eating the processed foods, supplementing, stuff like that, right? You're going to supplant that, and that'll help you gain even better health. Same with wealth. And it all ties to self, health, wealth, all that's all tied to you. You're going to do the same thing. If you want more money, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to start looking at your budget. You're going to do a budget. If you ain't done a budget, you're going to do a budget. You're going to figure out what you need, what you don't need. Then you're going to cut out the things you don't need. And then before you say, okay, I'm about to go and get more money here or there. No, first thing you do is you do a budget. You're supposed to do a budget every month, at least once a month. And you got everything on that budget. Whatever you don't need, get rid of it. If you're eating out too much, get rid of it. And then after you eliminate that, see what your money look like. And if you want more money from that, then increase your revenue. Because if you have bad spending habits, you can be making $5,000 to $10,000 a month. It won't help you. Like that's the same with these millionaires out here. These millionaires got all kind of money, but they always some kind of way have money issues, because if your spending habits are bad, it don't matter how much money you're making, you're going to always be at a deficit. So you have to then change the pattern here, monetarily speaking, that to replace the non-fundamental patterns or things that you're doing monetarily speaking with positive ones. And when you do that, you'll start seeing progress in that way. That's all it is. It's just taking account, right? But it's the same with everything. It's the same process with everything. Taking the non-productive, we don't get stuck on good or bad. I think probably more is productive versus non-productive. Remove the non-productive with the productive. That's probably a better word to place there versus good or bad, because some people see good and bad differently. It's all in the mind, but production is, they can pretty much see and really kind of relate to that word better, right? All right. Yes. Follow focus Q. Facts. AI is future found. We have to invest in 3 stocks: NVIDIA, Apple, and Microsoft. Yeah, I've been hearing that NVIDIA stock, man. Q, Hemisphere says this is DA. He isn't that smart to do evaluations. I mean, he's slow. Now, and when I mean slow, I don't think he's stupid. He does dumb things at times. I don't think he's a stupid man. What I think is he is slow, not slow meaning unintelligent, just slow meanings from pattern recognition is delayed. Why? I don't know. I don't think he's a stupid man. I just think he might be looking somewhere else where he's maybe doing a little too trusting of the offense right now. The Kubiak ain't do that in a few years, right? So he needs to kind of keep an eye on it. That's why I was saying at the start of the season, he needs to give up the play calling duties on defense and let his defensive coordinator do that, so that he can pay attention to the team. That's what I was saying the whole game, because I knew it was going to play it. You got to watch these guys, because if the guys struggle, you got to go to him and say, hey, man, you need some more offensive linemen? Let me go talk to Mickey. You need us to make a trade? Let me go talk to Mickey. What you need here, for real? What do you need to get this going? That's how because he knows that. And I don't know, Mickey Loomis probably tell him, hey, now, hey, listen, Dennis, don't worry about it. I got your back, okay? We'll bring you back next year. I like what the Saints are doing. I wouldn't be surprised if Mickey Loomis told him that, but guess what? Mickey Loomis ain't got nothing to do with that. If the people stand up and say they want them gone and them tickets stop selling and they start dropping them season ticket sales, that's what they're going to pay attention to. And ain't no person in that building, coach-wise, they're going to put above them making money. When them season tickets start dropping off, Dennis Allen is one cooked turkey. It's all about the money. Then people will drop him in the drop of a hat if that money comes down. That's why I be trying to tell people that they run it, they control it. Duke says, Q, I watched Jaden Daniels, QB, IQ for Commanders, elite shaking my watching card through another pattern, card through a pick six last season against the Falcons. Yeah. It's no coincidence, man, that keep happening with the same team, man. The only difference is he didn't go in and congratulate the guy. Credit to him for doing that. T Mama says, I thought he'd gift wrapped to Justin Simmons, but it was Anderson instead. I said it right here days before the game. Yeah, you're right, T. My only difference is he didn't run up to Anderson and say, hey, man, congratulations. Like he did last year with Simmons. Saints can win every game out, but lose to the Dirty Birds. You got to go. That's the thing. You can't lose hated rival games. That'll get you fired, dude. That'll get you fired, man. L-Dub says, how do you think Spencer Rattler taking all this and watching from the sidelines? Like a rookie would. He going to just sit there and wait. He's going to sit there and wait. And this, like I said, this was a part of the game, man. We're going to see what happens, man. We're going to see what happens, man, at the end of the day. We're going to see. We're going to see. Saints have to travel to Kansas City. It won't be a friendly environment. And Brother Hakeem said this early in the chat. And shout out to Brother Hakeem. He said that, he's not too worried about the KC game, but he's more concerned about the Tampa Bay game, right? We know KC's an AFC opponent. I think if you beat the defending world champions and you give them their first loss of the season, it's a morale boost. That's the Kansas City Chiefs, regardless if they're dealing with injuries or not. If you beat the Chiefs, that's a big morale boost. It gives you another win. It brings you back. It puts you above 500. And every win is a help, man. Every win is a help. So I'm just wondering what Saint team will get for the Kansas City game. That's the only thing, is what Saints team will we get for KC? And then Tampa Bay is the really impressive team because Tampa Bay is playing really well right now. Baker Mayfield is playing really well. They're responding to him. They're playing really well in Tampa. I'm going to just be honest with you. They're playing really well right now. They're doing a good job. So we'll see them in 2 weeks. We'll see how it goes. And then we got Sean Payton's club, and Sean Payton's team is winning some games. They're starting to get it going. So we'll have Sean Payton them on a short week. We'll see where we at with all the injuries and what the Saints do to kind of appease all that, because that's a part of it too. We dealing with injuries. That's a part of the game. We got to still be able to adjust and win. That's what the game's about. That's what they get paid so much money for. People don't want to hear all of that because they know what a depth chart is. T. Mama says Dennis Allen said he don't believe in rivals last year. Remember? But how DA it's burned this. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's been, yeah. I don't know what he talking about with that, T. Mama. Gregor says, Q, if we can generate a pass rush up the middle, I believe that it'll help us out. We do get Tanu P back later on in the year. They say supposedly Tanu passing, yo. But we got a problem with the Saints too, fam. The Saints over the last 2 games have been getting gashed on the run, and we got a problem there. We're not paying attention to it because we're looking at all this other stuff, but Saints defense got ran on pretty good over the last 2 weeks. And even though Atlanta only had like 89 yards, they averaged 6 yards a run. They just decided not to run the ball at us. But if they decided to, man, I don't know if we'd have been able to. 6 yards a run says no. So yeah, Tanu's supposed to be back later on in the day, in the year. Saints flights Tampa Bay beat down. It wasn't even close. That's what you were supposed to do. Beat them people down, man. They're not as good as they indicated, man. They're not as good. Saints did a wonderful job against Hurst, but they were calls. The offensive that head coach, he gonna get his issue. He's like coaching emotionally. And I was like, man, this dude. Because I was watching him on the sidelines, like, I don't like this dude, man. He's an emotional coacher. You it's good to show emotion at time, but the majority of the time you're operating logically. And the play calls he was calling in the game, like going for it here and doing that, like, what are you doing? It was almost like he was we're going to just embarrass a mindset or whatever it was. I didn't like how he was coaching. He should have lost that game. John Ridgway needs to play to plug up the middle. Yeah, they scratch. John Ridgway III was a healthy scratch last game because Bink Saunders came back. Big Bink came back and, in the game, it wasn't really all that, man, to be honest with you, but we need to focus on that. All right, so anyway, fam, we'll get ready to get out here. Listen, I appreciate all y'all for being in the stream. Do me a service, hit the like button if you hadn't hit it. Please feel free to share the show on your social media feed. As always, we up in this thing. And also shout out to our sponsors, man. The Sports Coma has several sponsors, man. Big ups to Mint Mobile. Links are in the description section below for Mint Mobile. They got sales and deals going on for if you need a phone. Nowadays, stuff is so high and ridiculous, man. You got to get you a good phone, man, on a good service provider. Remember I talked about that budget, saving some money? That's a big part of the money right there, the budget right there, saving money on your cell phone service. That's why, I thought it was a good connection between us and Mint Mobile. Their link is in the description section below. Teej Henley is also a sponsor of the show. That's skincare for the men. I don't know if some of the brothers might not know about Teej Henley. I invite you to check them out. You get a 20%, 15 to 20% discount with the link below. And Bet Online is a betting service if you need to make some extra money. if you got some extra money and you want to make some extra money, but it ain't money that you really need, you got a little spare change, you want to place a bet and make you some money, check out Bet Online, man. That's sponsors of the show, man. Shout out to those guys, man. We moving and doing big things. Also in the links in the description section below, there are 2 merch links. The merch links for Rise Up to Fall Down. We had the right concept. The Saints didn't. So that's still available. We'll get them in the second matchup, hopefully. And of course, that's there. And of course, the Show Me gear is available for the family members. The Show Me shirts and gear is available. The links are in the description section as well. So please check out our sponsors and also check out the merch, man. We in the building. All right. So much love to the fam. Listen, man, I'm going to get on up out of here. I appreciate y'all for doing all y'all doing. Listen, tomorrow we'll be back on Patreon with the All 22 breakdown. And it's not nice. That All 22 film with Derek Carr, it ain't all good. But we'll show all the stuff tomorrow on All 22 on Patreon. Also On Q with Big Q will be available for my people tomorrow. Listen, I'll be giving y'all a link for that as well. Because we'll cover a lot of stuff. I got some stuff I won't talk to y'all about. Some of these meat processing companies. My God. It's not even real food. I got some stuff that I won't show y'all on Q with Big Q. Some of this meat stuff that's not even real food. What else is there? There's a couple of things I want to show y'all that's going on as well. I got some clips I'm going to be showing to the family members on Q with Big Q. And for those who want to know how did I get to On Q with Big Q, you got to go through Patreon. It's patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. That's patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. On Q with Big Q is our news type show. It's the real deal show. And we talk about a lot of stuff that you can't talk about on this type of platform. So we do it on Patreon. But man, it's a lot of stuff we're going to talk about. A lot of stuff going on. That's crazy. What else was one I want to mention before I go on that we'll be covering? My goodness. Oh man, it's a bunch of stuff. We'll talk about a few things. Plus we'll have some questions and comments from the family members. We'll put all that in the comment section below. So with that being said, family said they on that Show Me. So they're going, before we end the stream, I'm gonna honor the wishes of the family. You know how I do. And this is the mindset of the Who Dat Nation. I'm gonna have to clip. It's getting kind of hectic. I'm gonna have to clip that before right now we on this.
Like Benson, I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a Falcon. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that at. Where we do that at. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that at. Boogie like this, and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Say they gon' beat them, say who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them, say who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them, say who that?
Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. Bet Online has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during games. Think you know your stuff? Get in on our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Bet Online. The game starts here.
That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform. TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember,